Welcome to SuperTalk, the podcast that scratches your superhero itch. Just two suburban dads nerding out over superhero stuff on the small screen and the big. Buckle up, people. Enjoy the ride.
Welcome to SuperTalk, the weekly podcast dedicated to news and reviews of comic book media on the big and small screen. This is episode 166. I'm your host, Brian Professor Pettis, and with me, as always, my illustrious co-host, Titanium Tony Estrella. Titanium, we're back for another episode.
Professor, yes, we are.
We got some content to talk about, too, which is exciting. You know, we knew we were going to get to this time of the year, and we finally got some things to talk about, so it's really cool.
It is cool, and we got a lot to talk about. There's, we're in the middle of Peacemaker. We're in the middle of Gen V, and then Disney dropped on Disney Plus Marvel Zombie.
Yeah, crazy.
So we got a lot to talk about. So let's jump right in. Let's plug our nose, close our eyes, and jump right in.
Yeah, let's go. So first we'll kick off with the review of the last few episodes of Peacemaker. They've released 5 episodes now. We reviewed the first 2 episodes on our last show. We'll talk about the next 3 and do a brief discussion about that. And is it only 6 episodes? So the finale should be tomorrow night.
Is it only 6? No.
Is it more than 6? I thought it was only 6.
Let's see, 6, 7, 8. No, I think there's
really, because it seems like they're going pretty quick towards an ending.
You know what? I think there's 9. 9 episodes.
So we have. Wait a minute.
I'm going to check it right now.
All right.
Talk amongst yourself.
Yeah. All right. Well, episodes 3, 4, and 5 came out since our last show, and we'll talk briefly about them. Episode 3 really focused on Chris going to the alternate universe. He finally decided to jump into the alternate universe and check it out. And
best dimension ever.
Yeah, best dimension ever. Just see what it's like. He was really, I'll say, enamored with his brief visit previously when he got to spend some time with his dad and his brother. His brother is alive, and they fight crime together theoretically. But he goes over into the alternate dimension and basically spends a day there. Finds out that he's got this cool motorcycle, and he has to, drives down to City Hall. He, as you remember, he was trying to reach out to Harcourt, the Harcourt of that universe, and find out what is the status of their relationship is there. Come to find out, she's interested in potentially a relationship, which the Harcourt from his universe has 0 interest in a relationship with him.
So is it just me, or she have gorgeous eyes?
Yeah.
Her eyes are stunning. And what came to me was I could see her playing Catwoman. I really could. She's got these cat-like eyes. I digress.
Well, I'm
off on a tangent, Professor.
I wouldn't put it past James Gunn to cast, his wife in another role in a DC project.
He loves his actors, doesn't he?
He works with the same ones over and over, which we'll talk about today. But so he spends a day over there, goes down to meet with Harcourt to kind of, and he finds out he's kind of a bit of the Peacemaker from that universe that he killed. Finds out that the guy was a bit of a dirtbag and kind of ruined his relationship with Harcourt, but she still has feelings for him. He's really jazzed because he's like, oh, I can fix this because I'm not that much of a dirtbag.
Yeah.
And then a militia group ends up attacking City Hall because they, had some mission they were on, and he has to go in and save the day.
He gets to play the hero.
He does. He goes in and wrecks ass without his costume on, without any of his weapons. He goes in and basically saves the day, and everybody's cheering for him and everything else. So as far as he's concerned, that's what you were alluding to.
Something's still funky about this dimension.
Best universe ever. Yeah. Best dimension ever.
Best dimension ever.
Yeah. And then in this episode, we also find out, as we saw in the second episode, Eaglie kicked the living crap out of the Argus team that tried to break into to Peacemaker's house. So they end up recruiting this quote unquote Native American, and it's Michael Rooker. It's the whitest guy on the planet. to come hunt down Eaglie.
He's an eagle hunter.
Yeah, he hunts eagles.
He hunts eagles.
And what economist says something like, "Isn't that highly illegal?" You know what you're talking about, boy.
Yeah.
But it's so that
they've hired a baby seal clubber.
Yeah, right.
I mean, exactly. That's it. That's what that would be like, right? So bizarre, but creative.
Yeah. So they're readying the Argus team and Red St. Cloud to break back into Peacemaker's house to find this doorway to the other dimensions, the trans-dimensional portal or whatever they're calling it. So that was really episode 4. Episode 5 really was interesting because we got to find out the genesis of this pocket dimension that his dad had access to.
Yeah.
We find out that his father, when the kids were young, were out hunting in the woods,
right.
And he ends up shooting
an alien.
We don't know what it was, but it wasn't from Earth, and ends up shooting, and it was carrying this little metal device, and they found this doorway that it was running towards. And that's what we find out that was the genesis of it. And the device that he was carrying allowed them to move the doorway. And that's how the doorway was moved into the house that they're living in at that time. So that was a really interesting plot point that we got access to. Argus does put the team together to break into his house. Chris is off doing other things, and Economist is like trying to waste time and delay and everything else because Chris knows that he can move the doorway. So he takes the metal device, runs to his family's cabin in the woods, and is like, "Hey, I can move the doorway here." And we see how the device works. He has all these switches that he has to use on the device, and it transports that dimensional portal to another doorway.
Really cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And he's able to do that just in time, funny enough, right?
Eaglie Rex house.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, Eaglie greater than Crypto. In my book, I think Eaglie is a much more compelling character than Crypto right now. I mean, dogs are dogs, man. I love dogs, but I don't know. There's something really cool about Eaglie, and we find out more later on.
Well, at the end of episode 4, Red St. Cloud decides to do some magic and ends up finding Eaglie, or is able to, use his magic to go
vision. He went on a vision quest.
Yeah.
To hunt eagles.
Yeah. And he basically says that I found the prime eagle. So we've learned that Eaglie is the prime eagle,
right.
Like in charge of all other eagles. And, but he's able to see the house that they escaped to in the woods, in the cabin. And at the end of the episode, Harcourt, who we know has been kicked out of Argus and has no ability to get any government job ever again.
Serious mental and emotional issues, doesn't she?
And we got some insight into the fact that she had a relationship with Rick Flag Jr.
Crazy.
Right before the events of the Suicide Squad movie.
Yeah.
And that's kind of some of the reason why she has, some anger towards Peacemaker, because he's the one that ended up killing Rick Flag Jr.
Right.
And when Peacemaker went to the alternate dimension, Rick Flag Jr. was still alive over there and has a crush on Harcourt.
So
it was so funny.
Oh yeah.
Funny. But anyway, Rick Flag Sr. recruits Harcourt and says, if you want to get your job back, you need to bring in Peacemaker.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the episode, she contacts him and they set up a meeting in a park. And that's where we pick up on episode 5, where they're in a park and basically Peacemaker is walking into a trap that Argus has set up.
We learned that Rick Flag Sr. Is really, his motive is revenge.
Oh yeah, he for killing Rick.
First thing he did when he was put in charge was find out what happened to his son.
Get access to the file.
Yeah, and it's just crazy. So we know his main motivation, even though he's preaching that the dimensional rift needs to be stopped. I mean, it tore apart Metropolis. That's our number one goal. But we really know what his goal is. His revenge for his son.
Right, exactly. And they do end up capturing Peacemaker. As a matter of fact, Harcourt knows it's a trap. She tried to warn him that it was a trap, and he came anyway because he wanted to talk to her. And she keeps, shoving him off. He's like, "Look, is there any chance for us having a relationship?" And she's like, "No, there's no chance whatsoever."
Well, and I think mentally he's really trying to convince himself to go to the other dimension full time.
Well, he doesn't want to, but he knows that this dimension, his current dimension, has all these bad things for him, and he's like, the new one is so much better. And
Yeah,
so
no question.
that was kind of like the final straw. Like if he had a chance with Harcourt, he'd stay, but if he didn't, he's like, I'm going over there.
Yeah.
And so he gets captured by Argus, and then Rick Flag Sr. beats on him for a while. Economist kind of saves him by actually booking him into the system, which means that they can't just kill him and
make him disappear, which is what they wanted to do. Yeah.
Right. He ends up getting released. And then he's like, heck, I'm getting out of here. He goes back to the cabin. Another big side part of this was Eaglie's battle against Red St. Cloud. Red St. Cloud tried to poison him, and Eaglie avoided that. Then Red St. Cloud thought he shot Eaglie, but it was another eagle. And then like 12 eagles show up.
Yeah, a bunch of eagles.
And they just rip Red St. Cloud to shreds.
Yeah, he's definitely, and then we see Eaglie and obviously some kind of mystical powers that Eaglie has. This eagle, the prime eagle. I'm sorry. And the other eagles start to rip him apart. That was a great scene. And we just don't know about Eaglie. He's got powers for sure.
He's definitely smart too for an eagle. But Eaglie and Peacemaker end up going into the cabin, and he brings the device with him, and he's going to go into the alternate dimension and shut the doorway behind him.
Yeah.
And he does that. He and Eaglie jump into the pocket dimension. He turns the device on and shuts the doorway so that nobody can follow him in.
Well, Judo Master.
Come to find out, Judo Master was spying on him and ends up following him into the pocket dimension. So we'll see where that goes in the next episode.
I mean, just a great series. I'm really enjoying Peacemaker season 2. I liked season 1, but I like season 2 even better. And can I say something?
Sure.
Full confession. Economist is probably the star of this show.
Yeah.
He's phenomenal.
He's awesome.
He's so great.
His deadpan humor is just perfect.
Is incredible. Is absolutely incredible. Economist is great. He's one of my favorite characters in this series. And I really like these shows. So I
tell you, who is another I'll say hidden gem of the show? Tim Meadows is hysterical in this show.
His bird blindness.
Yeah. But what was he calling Judo Master? He was calling him like a little dwarf man or something like that.
Something inappropriate.
Yeah, and it's something. And Judo Master's like, if you call me that again, I will rip
spitting.
I will rip your dick off. He says, a monk from Tibet taught me how to do it, and I will successfully rip your dick. And he's like, okay.
He calls Economist. What do you go? Like a Ginger Cool?
Ginger Cool.
Yeah. It's so funny.
It is. He's so
great character.
Yeah. Tim Meadows is, and I think he's on a bit of a redemption arc during the show too, which we'll probably find out or see. Did you see how many episodes it was?
8. It's 8 episodes.
Okay. So we have 3 more.
We have 3 more.
Okay.
And I heard 6 and episode 8 are spectacular.
So 6 and 8. So the one that comes out.
The one that comes out tomorrow. Is going to be, and they reveal and huge implications. I mean, everybody has said it. Even James Gunn has said it. Huge implications for the DCU moving forward.
Well,
are revealed.
The previews for this next episode show the 11th Street Gang. Is that the name of their team? The team finding a way to open the doorway back up and follow him into the other dimension. They go into the other dimension, chasing after him, trying to get him to come back. That
other dimension, something's wacky about it.
Yeah,
there's a lot of speculation.
There's something off.
I don't.
It's like ruled by Nazis or something.
Something like that. And the Freedom Brotherhood or whatever that's tried to bomb that place.
Yeah.
Something's going on. I can't wait to find out what it is, but we're going to find out what it is.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. Yeah, and that's on tomorrow night. So if you're not watching Peacemaker on HBO Max, please do. It's a phenomenal show written by James Gunn, ties directly into his DCU. It's been great. I mean, and again, his writing is just top notch, and that's one of the reasons why we like it so much. Yeah. All right. Well, let's jump into some news, and there's been a bunch of things that dropped this past week. I heard that you saw James Gunn post a photograph of the script of Superman Man of Tomorrow. And what did the photographs have?
So he posted a the script of Man of Tomorrow. So it's already been done. He's already has it. And there was a diagram of a brain, like a human, like a half cut off diagram of a human head featuring a brain. So speculation is, and it's pretty obvious what he's saying here is Brainiac is coming. I think the big bad moving forward in the DCU is going to be Brainiac.
Yeah.
And he's already posted a picture of, Superman and Lex is in his super armor, and Superman is kind of leaning up against him. So I think we're going to get this team up, this odd couple team up against Brainiac. It should be interesting. I mean, that's just speculation, all speculation.
Well, I mean, he's given so many,
of course,
hints that Brainiac is going to be in the movie.
He really knows how to market his future projects and also keep the fans engaged. And I think that's what it was. But I think we're getting Brainiac.
And it wouldn't surprise me if he were to put a kind of a post-credit scene in the Supergirl movie that would like reveal Brainiac and bring him in and head into Earth or whatever.
100%.
Yeah.
Agree.
Yep.
So what else did we hear? Professor, I heard that they wrapped Avengers Doomsday, and that there was on social media some of the crew. Typically, when a movie wraps, they give crew gifts, which are sometimes revealing. And this crew gift was a bag, and on it had a bunch of patches. Did you see that?
Yeah. They wrapped primary production for the movie did finish. So we know that now primary production is complete. And there was a couple of crew members that were at the wrap party, and they took some video. One of the videos at the wrap party, they had this hologram of Dr. Doom kind of like standing there, like moving around. And so we got a better view of what Dr. Doom looks like in his costume, which was really cool.
Yeah.
And then some of the wrap party gifts, to your point, was a tote bag. And on that tote bag, it had all of the characters that were in the Chair Watch on the tote bag. And the best part of it was they're all in comic book accurate costumes.
Yeah, that was really cool.
So every single character, and not only, so we have, Falcon and Sam Wilson version of Captain America, and we had all the Thunderbolts or the new Avengers, whatever they're calling them now in there. Fantastic Four was in there and all their costumes, but all the X-Men characters that had been revealed during Chair Watch, every single one of them was in a, I'll say 90s / early 2000s version of their costume.
Yeah,
so Cyclops in the blue costume with the yellow bandolier on it. It was very, very, very cool. So we did see a picture of Franklin Richards in the bottom corner of that tote bag as well, and it looks very similar to what he looked like at the post-credit scene of Fantastic Four.
So you don't think he was aged up a little bit?
No, I think it's the same, pretty much.
And it was Franklin Richards?
Yeah.
Because I was getting Little Debbie vibes. I was craving oatmeal pies for like all day when I saw that picture. But yeah, it's exciting, right?
Yeah, and I leads you to believe that post-credit scene of the Fantastic Four is going to be something that we see early in the Doomsday movie to kind of tell us what happens to Franklin.
Yeah, very cool.
Plays a big part in the movie, I assume. But yeah, we'll see where this goes from a wrap party perspective. Now, this just wraps principal production. If we know Marvel, this movie's not coming out for a year. There's going to be reshoots. There's going to be, VR and CGI and all kinds of other things that are put into this. Still work to be done, and they doing a lot of editing, I'm sure. But I think they're moving directly into Secret Wars filming right after they've kind of wrapped everything up on this movie.
Very cool.
Yep. Did you see our friend Tatiana Maslany? And if those of you who don't know Tatiana Maslany, she played She-Hulk in the She-Hulk series on Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see what she said to Disney?
She told people to cancel their Disney Plus subscriptions. I mean, is that for real?
Yeah.
She's
like, you should be calling and canceling right now.
Right.
Basically.
Do you think, let me ask you this. You're a sports guy, right?
Yeah.
Do you think if the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys said to everybody, Jerry Jones has made some really bad decisions with this team, and I think all the season ticket holders should cancel their tickets. What does that send a message?
Well, I think this signals the end of Tatiana Maslany as She-Hulk. If there wasn't already an end there already,
Yeah.
either
There must have been an end.
she'll be recast or that character will never show up in another Disney project ever.
Yeah, I don't get that at all. I mean, again, my analogy stands. I'm going to stand by it. I think it was a bad move, to be honest with you, and I didn't really care for that show.
Well, I mean, and again, I think you and I might have held out a little hope that that character was going to have a future in, and even though that series was nothing to write home about,
Right.
I think having She-Hulk in the MCU is a cool thing.
Absolutely.
And I was hopeful that that was going to carry on into Secret Wars and maybe some future projects. And that's in the comic books at one point in time, she was a member of the Fantastic Four. So who knows where this was going with that character. Tatiana Maslany will not have a future with Disney. If they're vindictive at all, she's gone.
Yet to be seen, but yeah, not a smart move. I think you protest in other ways. You don't. You as a quarterback,
bite the hand that feeds you.
As a quarterback, you don't tell your fans to cancel their season tickets.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
There you go. So what else do we got? Oh, did you hear about the accident on Spider-Man? The filming of Spider-Man?
Yeah, I did.
Tom Holland?
Yeah, Tom Holland was like typical media reporting. Original reporting was he was
to the hospital,
rushed to the hospital
with a head injury.
when in an ambulance with a head injury, and filming has been suspended indefinitely until he recovers. And that was the initial report, and everybody was freaking out. And then right after that, it was like, oh yeah, he did hit his head during a stunt during the filming. He went to the hospital as a precaution because, like with any head injury, you need to be careful.
Absolutely.
He was treated for the symptoms of a mild concussion, and would be taking a couple of days off before they resumed filming.
Oh, that's good news. Hashtag Tom Holland, get better.
Yeah, right.
Let's start.
So I think the alarmists out there went a little overboard with their initial reporting, but I think he's okay.
In all honesty, when you have the golden goose that Tom Holland is, every precaution must be taken.
Yeah, and I'm sure it was
too much of a huge. I mean, just a huge actor, great guy.
Well, and he likes doing stunts.
Yes.
So he doesn't always use his stunt double to do stuff. He likes doing some of his own stunts, especially in scenes that require dialogue. He wants to be part of those.
Yeah.
And this is a risk that you take.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he's okay. And hopefully everything's back on schedule.
And I think it shows in his performance as well. So that's great. Yeah.
Did you see they also cast an actor for
Tombstone?
Tombstone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I'm excited for it. I'm
glad. The same guy that voiced it in the Spider-Man animated series.
Yeah. Very, very cool. And I think it was a great casting. So
I do too.
I'm looking forward to this movie. I think it'll be great. All right. Well, let's get into our topic of the week this week. And this is brought to us by our friends over at Studio GG Studios.
Home of the man band, Corn on the Cob.
Yeah, we have a Studio G member in the house currently.
Yeah, he's upstairs watching SUV. So.
SUV. Well, there you go. But thank you, Studio G, for all you do. Go check out their page. We always link it in our show notes. Let's talk about one of our favorite series that returned to the air this past week. Gen V is here.
Wow. It hits hard.
Yeah.
It hits hard. It
comes out of the gates swinging for sure.
It really does. It's as brutal and as gross and as disturbing as any of the boys' shows. And I'm going to go on the record of saying it's just as good as season 1.
So I did want to ask you, and this is when the other night when we were together and you hadn't watched it yet, and I said, okay, after you watch it, I'm going to ask you something on the show.
Shoot.
So we know that the Gen V is based on the Boys series.
Yeah.
And the Boys series has been known for extended gore and, some inappropriate situations and some funny situations was a big sausage or whatever, whatever the guy's name is. There's a lot of that in this show.
Yes.
Like a lot. And I mean, I could name number of examples that we saw in the first 3 episodes.
Gratuitous sex and gore and shock value.
Yes.
Yes.
There's a guy whose superpower is he can keister anything. Basically, anything can go up his ass.
Yes.
Like, that's his superpower.
It's almost like a dimensional portal.
Yes.
Yes.
Like he's doing, instead of doing keg stands, he's doing keg sits, where they basically put the keg into his ass and then he sucks it dry to the point where it's like, imploding because he's sucking it so fast. And then there's one scene in the show where Jordan and who's the other character? Sam are fighting, and they break into this room, and the guy's sitting there on the floor naked, like in kind of like a dog position, and then some guy kind of crawls out of his ass.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. My question to you is, the Gen V creators, so while The Boys is based on comic books and stories from the comics, and they're pretty closely tying the plot of the television show to things that were written in the comic books.
Yes.
Gen V is not. It's a brand new series that was written and made for fans of The Boys based on that universe.
But it does somewhat stay true to what the boys, the direction the boys are going.
Yeah, and it's in the same universe, and some of the characters cross over, and there's other things. My question to you is, all of the excessive gore and inappropriate superpowers and all this other stuff, it seems like there's a little more of that on Gen V than there is on The Boys. And my question to you is, while it's thematic, like it follows along with the way that they run The Boys, do you think it's lost a little bit of its shock value? I think, in my opinion, when you see that stuff on The Boys, it's so, oh my God, I can't believe they did that. Oh my God, I can't believe that happened. Like somebody just like exploding or something, right?
Right.
Or oh my God, they cut somebody's arm. There's some shock value to it. It happens almost too often in Gen V, where I think it's lost some of the shock value. Like, they're doing too much of it, I think. And that's just my opinion.
I can see that. I can see where you're coming from that. And you are 100% correct. And again, gratuitous, sexual, gross, shock value, gore, that type of thing that's in this show. I think it appeals to a younger horror type of audience. For me personally, bring it. Like, I can't get enough of it. For me, there's not too much of it.
But I think the way that I'm saying, like,
is that your only problem with the show?
Yeah, but okay. I'm saying that's
not bad.
You obviously notice it.
Oh yeah.
But I think they've gone above and beyond to include so much of it that it's no longer shocking. Whereas before in The Boys, it was incredible because it was shocking. Like, they'd go through an entire episode, and you'd have the dialogue and the plot points and everything else, and then all of a sudden something crazy would happen. You're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I've lost the oh my God about it because there's almost too much of it now.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm not numb to it yet.
Yeah.
I love the gratuitous, crazy, wild crap. Yeah.
So I just something to point out. I just noticed that there was so much of it in there. I was like, wow, they are really ramping it up for this series. And to the point where I was kind of getting a little numb to it. But yeah, that's my only point. But that being said, I still enjoy the show very much. The other thing I was going to mention to you, before you watched the episode, you said they're obviously painting Marie as the savior and the prime character of the show and everything else. And I'd say in general, yeah, but they're focusing a lot on Emma this season as well.
Really are. And they should. She's
special. Great. And I think that's why.
She's special.
I think she was like the hidden gem of season 1.
She really was.
And then
she was a standout in season 1.
And then they kind of she's in so much of this.
She's super special. I love the character. I love that actress. She's so good at it. I really do. What I wanted to ask you is that, do you notice the rewrites since the character Andre, he in real life, obviously heading to Canada to film this season 2, was killed in a tragic
car accident.
Was it a car accident?
He was riding a motorcycle.
Motorcycle accident. Yeah. And obviously he was a big part of this season, and they rewrote it. And Polaris, his father, is now, I think, getting into that role.
Yeah.
You can see the clunkiness,
I think
a little bit, especially that first episode. Now, as you stated, he's really part of the plot going forward. His death is part of the plot going forward.
Yeah, they wrote his death into the series. Like, he obviously wasn't able to film anything because he died on his way to start filming this season, and they had to really scramble and rewrite a lot of the episodes and refactor some of the plot of the season. And they did two primary things. The first thing they did was tell us a story of how he died.
Yes.
So we got in season 1 that his father, Polaris, and they're, for all intents and purposes, Magneto and Magneto's son, and they have magnetic powers, right? His father, Polaris, was a superhero and has since retired, but is still around. We find out at the end of season 1 that he has I don't know if it's genetic or kind of a side effect of his powers.
Yeah.
Is that every time he used his powers, he was creating brain bleeds and basically effectively
micro tears in his systems.
Yeah. And they wrote into the plot that everybody was trying to escape. What was the name of the prison? Elmira.
Yeah.
They were all imprisoned in Elmira at the end of season 1. They were Andre was trying to help them escape, found a way out, but they got up to this huge metal door that had basically blocked this sewer track that they were trying to get out of off. And he was using his powers to try to move this metal door. And he used it so much that he ended up having the same genetic problem that his father has, and he caused these micro tears and ended up killing him.
Yeah.
And that's what the story that we were told.
Yeah. And Marie had already escaped from the prison, which I think is suspect.
Yeah. I think that was manufactured.
I think it was manufactured.
I think they would have started the season off with an escape by them.
I think so too. Right. That would have made sense,
right?
Because they kind of glossed over that whole prison stay and how they got out and what happened.
We start the season with Jordan and Emma getting loaded into the back of a truck from Elmira, not knowing what's going to happen to them, and they get dropped off at Godolkin.
Yeah,
right. And they're like, yeah. And we find out that Cate, who had betrayed them in season 1, was the one who got them out and wanted them back at the university, because she's like, things are not right here and I need your help.
Yeah,
basically.
Yes.
And what she's most concerned about is there's a new headmaster, and we find out it is Cypher is his code name, and he's a superhero. We still don't know what his superpowers are yet. But he was the doctor working on the virus in the Boys series and at the end of season 1 of Gen V.
And he was also a part of the Odessa project,
which we find out in this show.
Right.
Big part of this plot is the Odessa project, but we had seen him previously in the end of Gen V season 1 and at the beginning of last season of The Boys. He was the doctor responsible for creating the virus to combat superheroes. And we didn't even know he was a superhero himself. But he was responsible for creating this virus. And now he's the headmaster at the school. And that's how the kids know him from working in the lab.
He is a psychotic, sadistic manipulator, fascinating character. Like, he is something to watch. And nobody's figured him out yet. Nobody can.
Right. And he's got kind of two motivations. It seems like he's trying to, I guess, weaponize the students of the school to protect Soups.
Right.
Because the war is coming, and, we're outnumbered 20,000 to 1 on the planet.
The humans,
and if the humans figure that out, there will be none of us left. Right. And so we need to be ready for combat. So he's trying to identify the most powerful among them and train them to be the best of themselves from a power perspective. We know that each one of these kids, while they have powers, there's limitations or issues with those powers. Like, Marie has blood bending ability, but she really doesn't know how to use it. She does a pretty good job, but she has to cut herself and use her blood to do something.
Right.
But he's like, why are you doing that? You don't need to do that to use your powers.
Right.
And we know that Emma has problems shrinking and growing. Like, she used to have to make herself throw up to shrink
or eat to grow.
Exactly. But now she didn't even grow before. She had never grown before this time when she got big during this season. So there's some issues there. And one of the things we find out, there's one girl at the school who's a mimic, which she can mimic somebody else's powers in her close proximity for a short period of time. She takes over Emma's powers and is able to shrink and grow no problem. She's like, wow, how are you able to do that?
You
And
did
I'm
that
not.
better than me.
It's a mental block,
It
right?
is a
So
mental.
Cypher's trying to unlock those mental blocks that these kids have. But then we also find out the other big subplot is Marie was born in a hospital run by Vought.
Yes.
So she thought that she was injected with Compound V as a child, but that's not what happened. She was born this way in a hospital, and that's what we find out this Project Odessa. There were several kids that were part of Project Odessa. All of them are dead except for her.
Right.
And she ends up talking to her aunt, who says, she sees a picture that her aunt has with her mom and dad holding her as a baby, and Dr. Gold is there, Cypher is there with them, and she's like, who's this guy? And he's, oh, that's Dr. Gold. He's the one who delivered you.
Yes.
He was the doctor. He was our doctor.
And now he's the headmaster at the school.
So he knows exactly who she is.
Oh, no question.
And I don't know about you, but the fact that his name is Dr. Gold kind of leads, if you remember, the season started this year with a scene of Dr. Godolkin working in some lab somewhere on the original formula of Compound V, and the
father of Compound V.
Things go haywire.
Very bad.
But we see it's Dr. Godolkin. But I think this Dr. Gold might be related to him.
I can't wait to find out because it's really good storyline. Again, this show is top notch, at least for me. The Boys, Gen V, and now we're going to get Vault Rising. They're working on that series, another spinoff that follows Soldier Boys in the younger year. I just can't wait. This is such a great show.
It's going to be Soldier Boy and who is the female
Storm something.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Storm
Sparkle. It used to be Sparkle something.
Yeah.
Storm Chaser. Stormfront.
Yeah. So I think this has been great. The other kind of big things that happen in the show, Marie is, as we talked about, escaped from prison, but she wasn't back at the school yet. And Jordan and Emma go out and try to find her, and they do find her. Well, Cate ends up showing up too, and Jordan accidentally kills Cate.
Somewhat kills her.
Kills. They think they kill her. She ends up dying, right there in front of her, right there in front of them. Then they find out that she's been rushed to a hospital and she's in a coma. Right. So she doesn't exactly remember what's going on, and her powers aren't really working yet. But she has, suspicions of what happened. Yeah. And the rest of the kids are like, we just don't tell her. Hopefully we won't find out. And they're concerned. But at the end of the third episode, they're having a festival for it's Godolkin Day because it's his birthday.
Right.
And Jordan is named the #1 student on campus.
Rankings are still a big thing at the university. Yeah.
Right. And now he's the new #1. So he gets a bunch of promotions and some benefits and all kinds of other things. And he gets up on stage to make a speech, and he starts reading the speech that Vaught's given him to read. But he ends up saying, oh, yeah, by the way, Andre's dead, and he died trying to escape from Elmira, and none of you know that, but we're here to tell you, and we're the ones who killed Cate.
We're the ones that hurt Cate.
That put her in a coma.
Right.
And that's how the episode ended. So episode 4 airs tonight. Mm-hmm. And so I'm sure you and I will both be watching that. But yeah, this is really great. Again, great content. I'm glad they released the first 3 episodes to kind of get our beaks wet. As they started the series, but now it'll be, episodic from here on in until the series is over. And this will lead us into the final season of The Boys next year, which will also be, I'm sure, a banger. I know they're in the middle of filming that right now. So
absolutely,
it'll be awesome.
Yeah. You want to talk a little bit about Marvel Zombies?
Yeah. So, just premiered today on Disney Plus. I have watched the first episode only. I haven't watched all 4.
Okay. We'll get into it next show, but
I'm excited about it. I think it's, by the way, it's rated TVMA. There is all kinds of gore.
Yeah.
There are plenty of deaths in this. A lot of cool intertwined, it's based on the What If episode they did about Marvel Zombies, and based on a Marvel Zombies comic book that was written. And I think it's been good so far. My favorite part, episode 1, the Moon Knight Blade character, and it is voiced by Mahershala Ali, which is also awesome.
He's a great character.
Oh, I mean, like, as much as I'm excited to see Blade in the MCU, if you did this character in the MCU, I'd be happy with that one too.
Well, here's the good news. The first episode is probably the slowest.
Yeah.
To be
How many
honest
have you
with
watched so far?
I've watched all 4.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Already?
I watched all 4. But the first episode is probably the slowest. My overall opinion of the show is it's good. It's just okay. It's good. It's animated. What if season 1 was really good? What if season 2 was
Yeah.
it was okay. You know how I have that thing about cross.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. Where like I don't.
So the thing, let's explain this to the audience. One of the things in this world that upsets Titanium the most,
no question,
is when you combine multiple characters into a single character and claim that that's a new character.
Yes.
So like when we're at Comic-Con and somebody's up there dressed as Spider Thor.
Yes.
I don't think anything could, or Shazam Thor or whatever, anything would bother him more.
Even worse is Darth Captain America. Like when you go Star Wars and Marvel, or when you go Dragon Ball and like My Little Pony, like when you combine those things and you're trying to dress like a character, like you're the Scarlet Witch that is also Wonder Woman. I mean, drives me crazy.
There's always a handful of them at Comic-Con, and every time Titanium sees one of them, he just shudders. He's like, nothing angers me more.
It's crazy. So in this series, I like zombies. World War Z, loved it. Walking Dead, one of my favorite series. I love zombies. I like zombie shows. I dig zombies, and I'm passionate about superheroes. You know that.
Yeah.
I love superheroes. And to have them combined gives me a little twinge in the back of my neck.
It's a bit, and I think that's where the stretch is a little bit with this, that okay, I understand if you get bitten by a zombie and you become a zombie, you're then a zombie. But what we know about most zombies is they're unintelligent. They operate in like kind of a horde mentality.
Yeah.
But if you're a superhero and you're turned into a zombie, you retain some of your memories, and those memories are, of who certain people are, but also how to use your powers.
Right.
And you basically are kind of the same thing you were when you weren't a zombie, but you're now a zombie, and you now have to deal or listen to the zombie. So it's like, Hawkeye zombie is still Hawkeye, can shoot arrows like, as accurate as anybody, but now he's a zombie.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, it's just if Hawkeye were a zombie. So that kind of bothers you a little
just a little bit. Just a little bit. Overall, it's good. And it's the story is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And episode 4, I can't wait to talk to you about episode 4.
Okay.
So
all right. Well, we'll talk about it next episode.
Fantastic. Well, Professor, let's ring the bell. School is over.
All right. That's it for us this week. We'll be back next week with more Super Talk. To get in touch with us on social media, hit us up via email, supertalkpodcast@outlook.com, or @supertalkpod on Twitter. Until then, stay super, everyone.
Corner of the man.